Okay, who here hasn't been to space?
Why?
You better not throw up on my ship.
Approaching jump in 3, 2, 1.
People coming in saying, oh, there's hope, he's coming back, just chill out, give him time to grieve. They've had 2 years, but give him time to grieve. Let him do this, let him do that. How long do we have to wait? A decade? Is it gonna be a decade before we see T'Challa back on screen? As Theo B has pointed out, there are people that have been waiting to see this character on screen since the 50s, since the height of the civil rights movement. Not all of them are going to be blessed enough to be able to see that decade, to be able to see when you put him back on the screen. So how dare you be so selfish to those of us that are older, that are wanting to see this character, that now don't get to see a character that they grew up with way before I even stepped on the scene. That's selfish. And it's baffling to me that the anti-recast crowd can't see some of these laid out points. This is fact stuff. We're not just talking MCU. We are talking bigger than the MCU. That's what I mean. That's what these anti-recasters don't understand. They come in here and think 2018, Chadwick Boseman, Black Panther, I love that film. It's bigger than the MCU. When Kevin Feige said Chadwick Boseman's rendition transcends any iteration or whatever, no. This franchise transcends the MCU. It's way bigger and deeper than the MCU. But again, when you come in at face value and you're looking at the recast T'Challa crowd or movement, you're looking at it from a point of view of Chadwick Boseman, immortalizing Chadwick Boseman, because that's continuing to go on. Again, I told you, I got another comment that said Chadwick Boseman is Black Panther. No. And it's so weird that you all keep saying that. No. And again, it's to the point now to where I'm starting to think we need to have a wider conversation about why you think this man is a fictional character. And we can do it in a counseling session. We can do it over Zoom call. Like I want to invite some anti-recasters on. Please have a conversation with me. And I'll have a civilized conversation. Have a conversation with me. Can you articulate to me why the character needs to be taken off of the screen without using the words Chadwick Boseman died? Because that's known. We know that. Can you come on a stream and articulate to me as to the reason why the character should be taken off of the screen? I invite, if there are any anti-recasters that might be listening, that might play this back in a replay, please DM me on Twitter. I would love to have you come on. I would love to have you come and articulate to me why the character, a character that transcends your little MCU, should be taken off the screen for people that have been waiting 50 plus years to see this character on screen. For people that this character is literal black representation for. For the black little boys that the character was made for. That now don't get to see this character. That now don't get to see themselves in a black character because you've taken them off the screen. Well, you got Yahya Abdul. Well, you got Sam Wilson. Well, you got X, Y, and Z. Sam's on the left. And it sounds like he's not even going to be the star in his own film. Yaya's playing a white man's story, so it doesn't matter if they look up to him or not, because if you look up to Yaya, and for honestly talking, if a kid that doesn't know comics comes into the MCU and says, oh, this new Wonder Man character is cool, and it's black little boys, and they find themselves fascinated with Yaya's portrayal of Simon Williams, and then they go and pick up comics for Wonder Man, and it's Simon Williams, and they pick him up, and it's white, okay, issue 2, white. That's not representation. That's not the representation we're talking about. Sorry to even go there. Ashford, that comment just took me there because it's like DC has their fucking ear to the ground. They just they're reworking the entire Hal Jordan Green Lantern series for it to be a John Stewart Green Lantern series. I hope that they play heavy on the representation in that series as well. But I'm just excited that we actually get John Stewart, a prominent black DC hero, on screen. What did James Gunn just tweet out the other day? The picture of Mr. Terrific. Obviously alluding to we're going to get a live action Mr. Terrific. Well, a film live action Mr. Terrific. So, yeah, bro, like, that was winded, but Marvel doesn't have their ear to the ground. And if they do, actually, let me rewind that. Marvel has their ears to the ground. Marvel simply doesn't give a fuck. They don't care. I'm gonna play his interviews, I promise. They don't care. Raymond 2000 said representation isn't just black people being in movies and films. It's creating these black characters, putting them on screen, and giving them the equal time and treatment in this universe. That's exactly what it is. It's like we've looked at. We've shown the screen time of, the black actors in the MCU. For those that may not know, I'll go ahead and say it again. And this, I always use this one because it's wild to me. Idris Elba was in the first Thor, Thor 2, Dark World, Ragnarok, Love and Thunder, Infinity War. 15 minutes in the MCU. That all brings to 15 minutes. And then they want to say, but you have representation in the MCU. That is such an insult to my intelligence when you say that, though, because it's like, bruh, again, you're not talking to no little kids. That's not representation. I want to see my black heroes having first films, second films, third films, completely arced out. As I use the example all the time, we got to see Tony from start to finish. We saw him be the playboy, billionaire, philanthropist that he is. We saw him fall in love with Pep. We saw him have that relationship be what it was throughout a various multitude of his films and cameos that they both showed in. We saw him eventually marry Pep. We saw him ready to die for Pep. We saw him have a child in a life with that woman from that was introduced in his first film. We saw a complete story for Tony Stark. Tell me shit about Heimdall. He shouldn't have been playing Heimdall anyway. Let's just put that out there. Idris Elba should have never been playing Heimdall from the beginning. Another black man in a white man's story. So tell me shit about Heimdall, since we have so much black representation. Besides Sam constantly being on Cap's left, tell me shit about Sam. Other than that he's a broke Avenger that can't get a fucking bank loan, that's getting stopped in the street by police. Tell me shit about Sam. What's another one? Tell me shit about Nick. What representation have we gotten with Nick Fury? Besides him just being the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. Him getting his eye scratched out, the backstory we got in Captain Marvel, kick rocks. Give me some representation. Where is it? Everyone says it's always there. It's there. You got that weirdo dude on Twitter, Taskmaster, whatever the fuck his name is, that posted that tweet. You got all this representation. You posting a picture of a black character in the MCU is not fucking representation. That's the conversation that needs to be being had within our own community too. Because some of our own people are brainwashed into believing if you put a speck on screen, you put a Don Cheadle in Ocean's 11 or whatever the fuck Oceans he shows up in, that's representation. That ain't representation.